everyone, welcome to another Procreate Dreams tutorial. This is the animation that we will be creating in today's video. So I include the moon and the glow as layers for you. Then we just set the background color and we draw all the stars by hand right in Dreams. So if you would like to learn how to draw this moon, I did steal it from one of my previous Procreate tutorials, so I will link that in the description below and I'll show the finished drawing on the screen here. So it's a bit different than this, but that is where the moon came from. So if you want to learn how to draw that drawing, go ahead and check that video out. So if you are new here, I mainly post Procreate tutorials and now Procreate Dreams tutorials. So if that is something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe. I also offer extra tutorials over on Patreon. So if you want to check that out, I have it linked in the description below. But before we get started, the only thing that you will need to do is download the file with the moon and the glow layers. It is totally free to download. I have it linked in the description below. It just downloads as one .procreate file that you just need to save to your files to import later. I will show you how to import them when we get to that step. And I will also show you how to set up our stage in the beginning of the video as well. So all you need to do is make sure you have your file downloaded and then open up Dreams, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we just have Procreate Dreams open now. These are some other drawings that I've done, including my most recent test drawing for the one that we're doing today. So we are just going to open up a new one though. So click the plus icon, make sure we set it to square. Empty is fine. Let's click on that. Okay, then we're going to click this Dream 4 button or whatever yours says and change some of the properties. So we'll leave the frames per second at 24. We'll set the duration to 10. And then the width and height can stay the same. We'll just kind of adjust as we import the drawing. So leave it at what it is and then go ahead and click done. Now we'll just first import the file that you should have downloaded. So click on the plus icon here, click add track. Here is our first track. Stretch it out a little bit with 3 fingers so we can see the 0 to 10 seconds. And then we'll click the plus icon and click add file. Find the file wherever you downloaded it. So our Purple Moon Procreate file, and then click open. Okay, so it'll import that as one layer, this drawing layer. Let's first change the size of it. So I'm just going to tap on it and change the size, make it a little bit bigger maybe, but keep it right in the center there. So just change it so it takes up a good amount of our canvas, but not the entire thing. We have a good amount of room around it for our stars and stuff. So once you have a good size you like, we are going to hold down on this track and click Convert Layers to Tracks. So this is just on 2 layers, the moon and the glow. So then if you click this arrow drop down, you'll see, so this is like the group at the top, and then there's layer 1 and layer 2 inside that we can select separately. Okay, so this is our starting point. Now we are going to set the background color. So the background color is just going to stay the same the whole time. So if we click on this little timestamp here and we click background color, let's just go ahead and set this to somewhere in like the purpley blue area and then pretty dark. So maybe somewhere around here, maybe a little bit darker. Go ahead and just kind of mess around with it till you get a color that you like. Okay, so I'm going to go nice and dark so that our stars have a lot of contrast on them. So again, this is our starting point. So now let's go to this top layer in our group. Let's click to add a new track above that, and it should still be within our group now. This is going to be our first layer of stars. So let's go ahead and click on this drawing icon. Okay, we'll select our color, which is going to be the brightest color in our picture. So you just hold down on like one of these spots here to get a nice like bright white color to use for our stars. So it's kind of a nice bright like a whitish purplish color. To create our stars, we will click on our brush library to open it, and we will use this soft airbrush, the really small one under the airbrushing category. Let's go ahead and set the size to like 30%. And we are just going to make some nice stars. So with this soft brush, if you just like tap on an area, you'll get a very, very faint star. if you tap and kind of push down and move in like a slight circle, you get a nice bright star. So we want kind of a combination of these. So I'm just going to fill the entire screen here, or the entire canvas, whatever you want to call it, with some of these. You can make some pretty big ones, some nice tiny ones. So something like this, I'll go like right to the edge all the way around. Like so. Okay, so then this is kind of our starting point. So right now, if we just play our animation, nothing happens, but we have our moon, glow, and star layers all in this group here. So the first thing that we're going to do is make the moon and stars go to the right of our animation. We're just going to have the whole group move. So I am going to go to my group layer at the top here, make sure the whole group is highlighted. Make sure our playhead is at the very beginning. Click the movie button. Under action, click move, and click move and scale. So now we automatically have a keyframe here where our picture is in the center. So now we're just going to tap at 2 seconds here. That is as long as it will take our stars to go off. So right at 2 seconds-ish, we'll have the move and scale playhead there, and tap to make another keyframe so it'll highlight white there. And once that's highlighted, we'll just click on our picture and drag the whole thing to the right until our last star goes off the screen. And we want to keep it kind of in frame from top to bottom, so don't let it go like all the way down. Our little red box should be kind of lined up with our top and bottom, and then right to the right of it. So this is where we want it to stop, so I'm going to drag this last line. I'm just going to grab it and drag it down to 2 seconds so that it stops there. And then let's go to our beginning and let's click play. And now we see our moon go off the screen. Again and again and again. Okay, I'm going to hold down on my move and scale and click set all easings, and we're going to do ease in. And so now it should start slower and then speed up at the end. So we'll play that again. And I think that looks better because then our stars are going to speed up as they go across the screen, and then they'll slowly come back in when we get our moon coming back in. Now at 4 seconds, our moon is going to come back in, and it's going to stay there until the end, and that is when we'll have some shooting stars go across. So to do that, we are going to hold down on this group and click duplicate, and it'll pop up right after it. Let's click the arrow to open it up. I'm going to click on it and just drag it to 4 seconds. So the beginning is at 4 seconds. Okay, and it is the exact same as what just happened, so it'll just go to the right again, and we want it to come in from the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with 3 fingers, just open this up a little bit more. It's still only going to take 2 seconds to come back in, and then it'll just stay in that position until the end at 10 seconds. So to get to this exact same spot, so that if we loop it around, it'll start at the same spot and not even like a millimeter off, we are going to simply hold on this last keyframe for move and scale and click delete keyframe. We're going to hold on this front one and drag it to the end, right at the end. We'll click at the beginning on that same line so we can set a new move and scale, and we're going to tap on it to add a new keyframe. And on our picture, we're going to drag our picture to the left now. So from the left, just right again where our star goes right off the edge, and keep it centered from top to bottom as best you can. Okay, hold on the move and scale, click set all easings, and I think it's set to ease in, but we actually want it to do ease out. So we want it to start fast and then end up slow. So let's tap at the beginning and see how that looks. So we'll have a little bit of dead space in the middle that will fill in soon, but then it'll come back in, and then it kind of slows down until it gets there. So that is exactly what we wanted. Beautiful. Now the only thing we need to do is extend this to the end of 10 seconds so it stays there. So I'm going to tap on this group right on the right line, just drag it on down to 10 seconds. Our keyframe stays in place, that's what we want, so we want it to end up at 6 seconds, it's in the position, and then it just stays there. So that is what we wanted. We wanted to just stay there till the end, and then once it starts over, it'll loop back around again. Awesome. Let's do one more thing here before we start our stars. So on this last little bit, while our moon is just kind of sitting here and our shooting stars are going, we also want our moon glow to change a little bit. So that's why we kept it on a separate layer. So I'm just going to go to the beginning of my moon glow. Even though it's out here, I am going to start it there so that it kind of changes as it goes. So at the very beginning of my bottom layer here with my movie button, I'm going to click on that and click filter, click Gaussian blur. Okay, and then it sets a keyframe at the beginning. We want the Gaussian blur to be 0. We also want at 10 seconds for it to be 0. So I'm going to click at the end, click on it, and make sure it's set to 0 there. So that just adds a keyframe that sets it to 0. Then in the middle, we could probably have it change. So it'll increase, decrease, increase, decrease. So we need to add 3 more in the middle here. So maybe at about 5.5 seconds, then 7, and then 8.5. So right around 5.5 seconds, tap to add another keyframe. Set the amount to maybe 30 to 40%, somewhere in there. Okay, then at 7 seconds, tap to create another one and set it back to 0. You'll see it'll have a weird number there because it's trying to go from 30 to the 0 at the end, but now we're just adding a few more in the middle. So then we'll go to 8.5 seconds, tap to create another one, and set it to about 30 again. Okay, let's start at the beginning of that and click play, and we'll see our moon glow just kind of change just a little bit. It's kind of going fast, almost like breathing though, and I want it to be a little bit more linear. So just on our glow track here, hold on it and click set all easings, and that line will highlight, and then click linear. So we're only setting the easings in between each of these keyframes, not the move and scale one. That one doesn't change. So then it should just be a little bit more gradual of a glow, nothing too crazy. It just kind of briefly changes, but then it ends at 0 so that when it loops back around, it stays, it starts at the same that it started at before. Okay, so then that's it for all of our moon stuff. So next up is all of our star stuff. So I'm going to minimize these groups here. So I'm going to tap the little arrows on them so they go away. So now we can kind of draw above them. The first thing that we need to do is make a new set of stars that is going to kind of follow this beginning piece, and then it's also going to precede our when it comes back in. So to do that, we will actually just open up this group again really quick on our drawing layer here where we drew our stars. Hold on it and click copy. Okay, now we can minimize our group. Let's add a new track above it. Set it to the beginning, hold on it and click paste. And then, I don't know if yours is doing this, but for whatever reason, mine is pasted smaller, which makes no sense. But I'm just going to increase this size back up so they're kind of right on top of each other. And then we'll just drag it right in line with our other one. So this one we're going to fill in with more stars where the moon is, so it's a full layer of stars. So let's just uncheck our first group here below it so that we're only on our drawing layer now. Click the pen tool again, same color, same brush, and we're just going to fill in some more stars in this other area. Like so, very simple. Okay, let's turn our other group back on. Let's drag our playhead to the beginning, and we are going to click the movie button, move and scale. We're going to start it right next to our canvas. So off the left side here, almost touching the edge, again centered from top to bottom. That's our first move. Then at the end here, we'll tap to add another keyframe there, and at that point it's going to cover our entire canvas. So drag it back in until it's roughly centered there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but something about like this. Hold on our move and scale, click set all easings, and click ease in again. So now when we go to the beginning and we click play, we should have the stars that go with it. They disappear right at the end, but that's where we're going to start adding more. But before we do that, we need to add another set of stars right where our other group is, coming in right in front of it so that we can draw the stars in between them. Okay, so let's hold down on this drawing and click duplicate. We'll drag it down to the beginning of this till it snaps where the front of our next group starts at about 4 seconds. And we're going to do the same thing that we did last time. So again, we just kind of want it to do the opposite. We want it to start on the screen and move to the right as the other one comes in. So we are going to hold down on this first keyframe and click delete. Our second keyframe here is where it's on the center of the canvas. I'm going to hold down on that and drag it to the beginning. Okay, now there's no keyframe at the end. I'm going to tap that to add a new keyframe, and that keyframe is where it is right off the right of the screen. So drag it right off the right of our canvas there, centered from top to bottom. Okay, then we will start at the beginning, click play to play it across. So now we should have the set of stars with the first one, the set of stars come in with the second one. That didn't work quite right. Okay, and the reason it didn't work quite right there is because we have it set to ease in, because we duplicated it from this first one where it starts slow and gets faster, but then this group down here is set to ease out where it starts faster and then gets slow. So they're doing opposite things, so we just need to hold down on this move and scale at the top one, click set all easings, and click ease out. So it starts faster. So let's do that again from the beginning. Those go together, and then these ones should now come in together. Perfect. So now we just need to draw the stuff in between. So just 2 full seconds, which would be 48 frames of stars. And then at the end, we'll add the shooting stars. So now we need to draw everything in between this, but as soon as this ends, it just goes blank. So what we need to do here is start a new movement track that we can draw on, because right now we'd have to draw the entire frame of stars again and move it across and stuff. So we will just move this one again. So I'm going to hold down on this drawing and click duplicate. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Again, we are going to have it start exactly where it stopped right here, but the reason we're putting on a new track is so that it can move at a different rate, because we want this one to stay moving with our moon. This one can move a lot faster in a more linear motion. So this middle one here is the one that we're going to draw all the new stars on, but here is what we will do. We'll go to the beginning, we will delete that keyframe. So hold on that first keyframe and click delete. Grab our end keyframe at 4 seconds. Let's zoom in here and make sure we're on the right one. So we want to be on the one for this one. Hold on it and drag it to the beginning, right where it snaps there. Okay, so now it just kind of stays on that screen. So it stops, it stays. Okay, and then our moon is coming in. So we want this to be long gone by then. So what we're going to do is zoom out quite a ways. We are going to go to the end of this frame right before our other one, so zoom out if you need to. So right at the end here, as close as we can get without it snapping to that other one. And we're going to tap to add a new move and scale, and we are going to drag this way down, keeping it in line with our canvas as best as we can. So I find it easy to just like find the grid line that the bottom of our canvas is on and make sure this red line stays right about on it. So we're going to go way down so that we can make it go really, really fast. So it'll go zoom all the way over there pretty quickly. Okay, let's hold down on this bar and click set all easings. It should highlight your middle bar here and click linear. So yeah, so if you play it, you can kind of see how fast it goes. It goes pretty slow. I maybe want it to go a little bit faster. So all I'm going to do is find my end, move and scale, make sure that I'm highlighted on it. And we're just going to move this down a little further on our line. Make sure that this bottom line lines up with our grid line. It's still. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning. See how that looks. It's a bit faster. Let's see. And if we zoom in just right on this middle part, it'll just kind of loop it for us so we can really see. Okay, I feel like that's fast enough. And now we will draw on it, and we will also do some stuff with our drawing to help make it look like it's going faster. So I think that's good. So again, this is what it should look like now if you start from the beginning. So we move on. Our other one is flying off the right side of the screen, and then it comes back in. And then that is the ending where we'll add our stars, our shooting stars. So that looks good. Pretty seamless. Okay, so now we just need the little bit in this middle here where it gets blank. So to do that, we are going to use our Flipbook, and we're going to draw on each frame. It won't go that slow, I promise. It'll be pretty quick. It's 48 frames, but it won't feel like that. So let's just go like right at the end of our first drawing here and click this draw button. Grab the gray bar here and drag it down so that we have our Flipbook open. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in here, and so each frame we can kind of go back and forth with on our Flipbook here. We're using the same color and same brush that we had before to just draw more stars. So like right here, I have some coming from off my canvas and moving onto it as the frames go down. And then as you go down, it keeps moving further down. So what we don't want to do is, like, let's say we're on this one and we add a bunch of stars here. We don't want to do that because essentially from this one, it's like blank, and then they just kind of pop up instead of like flowing in from the side of our canvas. So I'm going to undo those ones that I did. And we want to go to one before that where we can have them come in from the side of the canvas. So right about here is where I will start, where there's, you know, I don't need to fill in these gaps here necessarily. I can just draw right next to them on the outside of my canvas. And this is what I meant when I said it won't feel like 48 frames, because I will draw like actually a few like rows of these so that I only have to do every few frames. So like this. So now if I do this, they all kind of come in. I'm trying to keep them pretty spaced out. These ones got quite a bit too close together. I'll kind of space them out a little bit better now. But see, like, so now I can start, and I skipped like probably 3 frames. So now I can draw some more. Okay, and again, skip like 3 or 4 frames, and then draw some more. Again, some big, some faint. Skip a few more. Skip a few more. Skip a few more. And this is obviously the most tedious part, but pretty soon we will see our other piece pop up, and then we will be done. I'm obviously doing this very quick and just sporadic. Okay, so as you can see now, we have stopped moving across the screen. So then there's like one frame where our next one's about to start and then it comes in. So we just want to go back to the one before that and erase anything on the edge. So like right here, this is going to be our last frame. So I don't want anything else to overlap that. So I'm just going to go through and erase those few on the edge, so that then we have one frame in between that's kind of like a duplicate, unfortunately, that I can't quite figure out how to get rid of so that it flows seamlessly, but then it flips into our next one where our next one starts coming in. So then that is it. So let's go ahead and click done and see how that looks. Okay. I'll start at the beginning. And boom, we have all of our stars going across and then we come right back in. Beautiful. That looks amazing. So now, one thing that we're going to do to help it look like they're going faster is in this little in-between where we only see stars that we just drew, all those stars we just drew, we're going to go back through into our flipbook and add some lines to some of them. So let's go ahead and just go back towards the beginning. So I'm going to go back into my first drawing at the end, click our draw button again, and open up our flipbook again. Okay, and now we want to go forward a few until we have mostly just all stars. So this is kind of right in the middle here. I'm at 2 seconds and a few frames in. I'll maybe go 6 frames in. So I'm at 2 seconds and 6 frames. And now with our same brush, I am just going to make some kind of horizontal lines through some of them. So very, very skinny. It's the same brush at 30%. But yeah, just some nice light kind of very horizontal lines. Dreams does not have the straight lines feature, which is unfortunate, but just do your best. So I'm just kind of drawing some straight lines through some of them, like so. Okay, so this is everything that we can see on our canvas. And now similarly, we want to start some off of our canvas so they come in as lines. So I'm going to go right here. Make a few. Some of them are kind of ugly. Some of them are brighter. Some of them are a little more faint. But now we'll go forward a few until those lines come in. And then we'll start maybe some more. Making sure they're all the way off of our canvas. So if you need to go back a few to add them instead, feel free to do so. Okay, and now we're about at the end. So I'm probably going to stop even before that. So I'm going to undo the last few that I did. So I didn't realize I was so close to the end. But so we have almost a full, maybe half of a canvas's worth of just regular stars without lines on them. And we will see how that looks. So I am at 3 seconds and 13 frames. I'm going to click done. And now we'll start at the beginning again and watch it go. And yeah, adding the lines just makes it look like they're going faster, then they slow back down. Okay, so lastly, we are going to add our shooting stars. So those will be nice and fun. So I'm going to start them kind of like right where my stars end. So my moon is fully back in now, right? So at about 6 seconds, my moon is in. I'm going to add a new track. We are going to click the draw feature again. I'm going to start on the outside, like middle of my canvas. I'm going to set my brush up a little higher to like 50 to 60% and make a nice, good shooting star. So that's going to be the start of it. Okay. Then we are going to switch our brush. So same color, but just a different brush. We're going to switch to the Flicks brush under the spray paints category. I have the opacity on that set to like 50 and my size set very, very small to like 2 or 3%. We are going to have this shooting just down and to the left, just slightly, not a huge angle, pretty straight, but just slightly to the left. I pick my brush up a few times. I let it get thinner on the left side, thicker towards the base. So I kind of thicken it up to kind of match the size of my star. And then it just comes to a nice point. And I'm just sticking it up nicely so it looks something like that. Okay, now we're going to go back just into our timeline feature. So we're out of drawing. Okay, and it starts there, and right now it just stays there as our moon kind of glows a little bit. But now we want it to move. So at the beginning, we're going to click it and click move, move and scale. So now we added a keyframe there where it starts on the outside. We're going to go maybe to 8 seconds, tap to make another keyframe, and we're just going to shoot it kind of in the same direction as that little tail is and kind of place it up there outside of my canvas. Okay, well, let's go ahead and play that and see how that looks. That looks nice. Let's play it again. Okay, it could be a little faster, so I'm just going to move my keyframe up. So I'm going to tap on that one at 8 seconds and move it up to maybe like 7.5. See how that looks a little faster. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to just kind of end this here. So I'm going to drag the end up to like the 7.5 seconds where my keyframe is. So this is all that we have here. And then we just want a few of those. So I'm going to click on it and click copy. If I were to click duplicate it, it would add it at the end, and I don't want it to be at the end. I want them to kind of go maybe simultaneously. So I'm going to click copy. Okay, we're going to add a new track, hold on it and click paste. And now we have a duplicate of this shooting star, but it starts at the exact same position and follows the other one. And I want them to like maybe hit at different places, different times. So for different times, I'm going to hold on it and move it to where the beginning is roughly lined up with about 7 seconds there. I'm going to hold on my move and scale and just click delete move and scale. So I kind of held in between the two keyframes and just delete the whole thing so we can start over. So now at the beginning, I am going to, before I click anything, I am just going to tap on it and move it down a ways outside of my canvas still. We're going to tap the movie button, move and scale. It set a keyframe at the beginning, outside to the left. We're going to tap on at the end, tap to create another one, and we will set this one again. I'm just going to kind of shoot it straight in that same motion, the way that the tail's going, off the right side, and that is where it'll end. So we'll do that again, so both of them are going. Also, I'm not sure if yours were automatically set, but for both of these, I have the easing set to linear. So just make sure that is it on both of yours as well. Okay, let's go ahead and add maybe 1 or 2 more. Let's go ahead and add a new track. Click on it and click paste again. So our same one is pasted. I will hold on it first and drag it up to about 8 seconds now. So that's where it'll start. Hold my move and scale and click delete move and scale. Go to the beginning of this section. Tap our little star and we'll just drag it down towards like the middle. So the first one was kind of like on the upper half, the second one was on the lower half, this one's right in the middle. I will tap the movie button, move and scale, tap the end, create another one, and we'll again just drag it the same direction as its tail off the top right corner. hold on it. It should set to linear automatically, but hold on it and change the easing to linear if you need to. And now we'll have that one go too. And I think that's actually good. So that one ends at about 9.5 seconds. So I have the one that starts at 6, ends at 7.5, one that starts at 7, ends at 8.5, and one that starts at 8 and ends at 9.5. And they all just kind of go in various spots of my canvas. So I am going to zoom out. I am going to play, and now we can see the whole thing in action. So there's like a little glitch in between my stars moving, which I kind of hate, but it is what it is. I couldn't figure out really how to fix that. But now we can really see it in action as well. If we go to Dream here to open up our options again, let's set our timeline to loop and then click Done. Then you can click on it with 4 fingers, click play, and it will loop around and around and around with our stars and everything going again and again and again. So that is it for our animation today. If anyone knows how to get rid of that extra frame that kind of staggers it, I would love to know. So otherwise, I hope that you had fun. I hope that you liked the way that yours turned out. I hope you maybe learned some new stuff. If you would like to see more Dreams tutorials from me or regular Procreate tutorials from me in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Again, I also offer extra tutorials on Patreon, so that is linked in the description below if you'd like to check that out. I would love to know what you think of this video and what you think of Dreams, so go ahead and leave a comment below and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or found it helpful. If you would like to share your animation on Instagram, I would love to see it, so go ahead and post it and then tag me so that I can check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and give me a follow so you can see what I'm working on next. Thanks for watching!